What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are continuing our playthrough of Dracula Curse of the Vampire by Jonathan Green. We are well into it now. I believe in the last part we all took on all of the vampires from all the coffins. The only one left remaining was Dracula, and we faced off against Dracula, who was taking blood from Mina, who is now cursed, I guess. So I think we are on a quest to try and track him down as soon as possible and kill him. So I guess we're in the end game now. So
yeah, he ran away, didn't he?
Yeah, he
fled.
He flew away in the daylight. We surprised that. So I guess we're just gonna get into it and see what happens. So
yeah, so we've just gone back home to Mina.
Mm-hmm.
Mina awakens you early the next morning as the grey of the coming dawn is turning the windows into sharp oblongs, and the gas flame is like a speck rather than a disc of light. Go, call the professor, she says hurriedly. I want to see him at once. Why, you ask? I have an idea. I suppose it must have come in the night and matured without me knowing it. He must hypnotise me before the dawn, and then I shall be able to speak. Go, quick, dearest, the time is getting close. 2 or 3 minutes later, Professor Van Helsing is in the room in his dressing gown, while Arthur and Quincy are standing with Dr. Seward at the door asking questions. Turn to 689. I imagine him with like one of those red dressing gowns and a pipe.
Yeah.
And some brown slippers. But I still see him as Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, that's awesome in his accent. Oh, my dear Madam Mina, says the professor, rubbing his hands together in delight. This is indeed a change. We have got our old Madam Mina back, and what can I do for you? I want you to hypnotise me, she tells him. Do it before the dawn, for I feel that then I can speak, and I can speak freely. Be quick, for the time is short. Without a word, he motions for Mina to sit up in bed. Looking fixedly at her, he starts to make passes in front of her from over... Yeah, I don't know. Make passes in front of her from over the top of her head downward. With each hand in turn, she in turn gazes at him for a few minutes, until gradually her eyes close and she sits stock still. Yeah. It is only by the gentle heaving of her bosom that you can tell she is alive. The professor makes a few more passes and then stops, and you can see that his forehead is covered with great beads of perspiration. His subject opens her eyes, but she does not seem the same woman. There is a faraway look in her eyes, and her voice is possessed of a sad, dreamy quality. The stillness is broken by Van Helsing's voice speaking in a low, level tone. Where are you? I do not know, her answer comes in a neutral way, as though she is interpreting something only she can see and hear. It is all strange to me. What do you see? Van Helsing asks. I can see nothing. It is all dark. What do you hear? You detect the strain in the professor's patient voice. The lapping of water, it's gurgling by, and little waves leap. I can hear them on the outside. Then you are on a ship. Yes. What else do you hear? The sound of men stamping overhead as they run about. There is the creaking of a chain and the loud tinkle as the check of the capstan falls into ratchet. What are you doing? I am still, oh so still, it is like death. Her voice fades away into a deep breath, as one of sleeping, and her eyes close again. Van Helsing places his hands on Amina's shoulders and lays her head softly down on her pillow. She lies like a sleeping child for a few moments, and then with a long sigh awakens again, and stares in wonder to see you all watching her. Have I been talking in my sleep, she asks as she stifles a yawn. Turn to 718.
Hey, Tom! Yes, we are a little earlier today.
Yeah, we thought we'd get out of the way and eat after stream today.
Yeah, we haven't had food yet.
Well, we have had food, but we haven't had a meal.
We haven't had our second breakfast.
No, we haven't been breakfasted.
We haven't been breakfasted.
I'm tempted to see Van Helsing as Mel Brooks, thanks to Dracula Dead and the Loving It. Mel Brooks. I can't remember who Mel Brooks is. But no one's picturing him as Hugh Jackman at the minute.
Mel B is one of the Spice Girls.
Yeah, that's what from both actors. So. Ooh, you bastard!
Is that Van Helsing from now on? Mel B.
I'm gonna try not to.
718.
Slightly different Mel B, I feel.
There is not a moment to lose, says the professor urgently. For it may not yet be too late to thwart the enemy's plans. That ship, wherever it was weighing anchor whilst Madam Mina spoke. There are many ships weighing anchor at the moment in your so great port of London. Which of them is it that we seek? We can know now what was in the Count's mind. When he fled the house in Piccadilly, he meant to escape. He saw that, with but one earth box left and a pack of men following like dogs after a fox, this London was no place for him, and so he has taken his last box of earth on board a ship. He thinks to escape, but we'll follow him. The old fox is wily, but so too am I. But why do we need to seek him further, Arthur asks, when he's already gone away from us? At this point, the Professor looks gravely at Arthur, because he can live for centuries, whereas Madam Mina is but a mortal woman. Time is now to be dreaded, since he put that mark upon her throat. Now more than ever, we must hunt him down, even if we have to follow him to the jaws of hell. If you wish to continue the story as Jonathan Harker, so we can do Jonathan, we can play as Mina, or we can play as Dr. John Seward, but we want to continue as Jonathan.
Yes.
46. A day is always better when one has been breakfasted.
Indeed. Our breakfasted steak was from leftover pizza.
Oh, that was a good breakfast.
It was. And tomorrow was going to be even better.
What's tomorrow?
Those,
Oh,
waffles.
yeah, sugar waffles and custard.
Okay, so 46, Jonathan Harker's journal. So, is it 22 our max?
Yes,
Yeah.
we can get 4. No, it's 24
24
was our max, so we can get 2.
So, it starts off with the journal. So that means we can regain...
2 and...
Oh, I pressed the wrong button.
You don't take it
Oh,
off.
we're in hell now.
It was homemade pizza as well, Thom, which is
Yes.
the best pizza.
So, endurance up by 2.
Yes. You try to kill me.
Oh, that's just us gorging on the steaks and the food.
It's breakfasting.
Yeah, we
What's
also
it called?
still have the brandy as well.
Yeah,
Like
we do.
2, 3 brandy?
3. We have 3 lots of 4.
3 bottles of brandy.
No.
That's why our hair's turned so grey.
3 lots of 3.
So, Jonathan Harker, I've just been munching on pizza for dinner. Nice.
What flavour pizza, Steve?
Jonathan Harker's journal, 4th of October. Professor Van Helsing instructed me to stay with my dear Mina while the rest of them set off for Port of London. Oh, so we're staying?
No.
Your wife has brightened up considerably, and the certainty that the Count is out of the country has given her great comfort, and such comfort is a strength to her. For your own part, now that you are no longer face to face with the horror of the Count and bodies, it seems almost impossible to believe that the threat he once posed was real. Even your own terrible experiences in Castle Dracula seem like a long-forgotten dream. Deduct 1 from your terror score.
Oh, we're having a little holiday then.
Yeah, we're chilling for now.
Little break.
Down to 20.
No drama. Oh, we'll have to share the
Delicious.
recipe on here on this stream one day because it is the best pizza, isn't it?
We'll just drop it in the chat.
We've got it down.
We'll sell it to you. It's on
You
my
will.
Patreon. Yeah, deduct 1 from your terror score. But then your eye falls upon the red scar that now blemishes your poor darling's white skin. Alas, how can you disbelieve when confronted with such evidence? While the imprint of the holy wafer remains upon her forehead, there can be no disbelief. But nonetheless, the pain and the fear are reduced. There is some guiding purpose manifest throughout, which is in itself comforting. The following evening, when the others have returned to the asylum, a meeting of the vampire hunters has convened once again in Dr. Seward's private study. Turn to 96.
I like these little meetups.
Yeah. It's like in Persona when you have like a little
Yeah.
meeting. It's a pretty simple recipe, to be fair. It's nothing like...
Alright.
No, it's not like... We don't add like extravagant things to
No, we
make
don't.
it.
It's very simple.
It's not the... what's that maybe? Good burger recipe.
Yeah, but it's the best pizza dough in the
It
world.
is real good, to be fair. I could eat that every day.
Professor Van Helsing begins by recounting what he discovered when he visited the Port of London, that the Count is even now on board the Tsarina Catherine.
Sarina with a T.
Tsarina Catherine, and sailing for the Black Sea and the Bulgarian port of Varna. And so, my dear Madam Mina, it is that we have to rest for a time, for our enemy is on the sea, with the fog at his command. He's on his way to the mouth of Danube. he explains. To sail a ship takes time, and when we set off we will travel by land, thereby making much quicker progress. Indeed, we shall reach his destination before him. That last box of earth we seek is to be landed in Varna and given to an agent, one Ristix, who will there present his credentials, and so our merchant friend will have done his part. I ask again, Professor, says Arthur, when Van Helsing is done speaking, weariness etched onto his face. Is it really necessary we pursue the Count now that he has departed English shores? Yes, it is necessary, the Professor answers with growing passion, for Madam Mina's sake and for the sake of humanity. This monster has done much harm already. He has infected Madam Mina with his vampiric curse. Even if he does no more direct injury, having lived out her allotted lifespan, death, when it comes, will make her a vampire, just like poor Miss Lucy. We cannot allow this to come to pass. Do we ever see Lucy as a vampire?
Us?
Yeah.
No, we're still on our way back.
We cannot allow this to come to pass.
That'll be Mina's story then.
Yeah, only Dracula's death will free Madam Mina from this fate and redeem her immortal soul. But will not the Count take his rebuff wisely? Asked Quincy Morris. Since he has been driven from England, will he not avoid it as a tiger does the village from which he has been hunted? Your man-eater, as they call the tiger in India, once it has tasted human blood, it cares for no other prey. We hunt a man-eater too, and he is not one to retire and stay far off. In his living life, he travelled beyond the Turkish frontier and attacked his enemy on his own ground. He was beaten back, but returned again and again and again. Look at his persistence and endurance. Who knows how long ago he conceived the idea of coming to London? But having set his mind to it, he deliberately set himself down to prepare for the task. He studied new tongues, taught himself modern social etiquette, along with politics, law, finance, the sciences, the habits and customs of a new land and new people who have come to be since his blood still pumped hot and red in his veins. What he has seen here in England will have only whet his appetite and deepened his desire. He has achieved all that he has achieved to this point from a ruined tomb in a forgotten land. Imagine what more he could do now that he better understands what awaits him here.
I mean, it seems like Dracula's got it pretty good, to be fair. He can live forever, and then every time he gets old, he can just drink some blood, and he can learn as much as he wants, and like spend all his time doing all his hobbies.
Yeah,
and
he could just play
be 20
Stardew
again.
all day, every day. He that can smile at death, who can flourish in the midst of diseases that kill off whole peoples. But we have pledged to set the world free. Our toil must be in silence and our efforts all in secret. For in this enlightened age, when men believe not even what they see, the doubting of his wise men would be his greatest strength. It would be at once his sheath and his armour, and his weapons to destroy us, his enemies, who are willing to imperil even our own souls for the safety of one we love, for the good of mankind, and for the honour and glory of God. Turn to 1:30.
Can we get the dragon sword back?
No, yeah. As if you don't get to keep that.
Do you even get to use it?
We did, I
Against
think we did
the
use
three
against the
women.
women, yeah. The ladies. The ladies of the night.
night.
Jinx. Not Jinx though, because we're doing a read stream.
Death symbol, that's not ours. So after a general discussion, the six of you determine that your next course of action will not definitely be set upon until you have all slept on the matter and spent some time considering the consequences of whatever actions may be taken. You agree to meet tomorrow at breakfast, and after making your conclusions, you have been breakfasted. No one to want to know. Only then shall you settle upon the appropriate path. Turn to white pride.
You're gonna get so breakfasted.
Dracula's gonna get breakfasted. We're gonna feed him before we
So hard.
steak him.
Steak for breakfast. The bat. Whose is the bat? Not ours.
No, that'll be Mina's probably.
When the vampire hunters meet again, it is without Mina. She passes on her apologies, saying that she thought it better that the rest of you should be free to discuss your movements without being embarrassed by her presence.
Do you want to do half and half? You've been getting all the big pages.
It's not very big.
Okay.
Considering those discussions will inevitably have to include the matter of what should be done with her, should she succumb to the vampire's curse. And so, with one member down, you discuss your plan of campaign, with Van Helsing putting the facts behind you. The Serena Catherine left the Thames yesterday morning. It will take her at least 3 weeks to reach Varna, but we can travel overland to the same place in just 3 days, even allowing for 2 days less for the ship's voyage, owing to the way in which the Count can influence the weather, and if we allow another whole day and night for any delays that may threaten to impede our journey, then we have a margin of nearly 2 weeks. And so, in order to be quite safe, we must leave here on the 17th at the latest. This is like a metaphor.
Yeah, you have 10 days to grind.
But you don't, you just do your social things and that's it.
Imagine a Persona-style game in Dracula. That'd be super cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would. That way we shall reach Varna a day before the ship arrives, which will give us time to make such preparations as may be necessary. Of course, we shall all go armed against evil things, both physical and spiritual. I understand that the Count comes from a wolf country, says Quincy, and it may be that he shall get there before us. I propose that we add Winchesters to our armament. Is that guns? Shotguns?
Yeah,
rifles. I have a kind of belief in a Winchester when there is any trouble of that sort around. Yeah. Is he the Texan?
Yeah.
Good, says Van Helsing. Winchester it is. In the meantime, we can do nothing here, and I suspect Varna is unfamiliar to all of us, so let us go there sooner. It is as long to wait here as there. Tonight and tomorrow we can get ready, and then, if all be well, we will be ready to set out on our journey. Add the Winchester rifle to your adventure sheet and turn to 227.
Winchester rifle.
Yeah.
Nice.
Do you reckon we have silver bullets?
Probably, yeah. I can imagine Mum saying, "I'll breakfast you in a minute." Was that just a thing my mum saying? Why don't you try it?
I'll breakfast you in a minute.
Mother, I want to be breakfasted. Hopefully your neighbours don't listen to it. Let's add the two fellows from Supernatural. Yeah, basically, yeah. Is that their name? Yeah, isn't it? Sam and Dean Winchester.
Is that what I watched the first episode of?
We watched like 6 episodes and I think you bailed on it.
I didn't mean to.
Okay.
We were probably watching like Supernatural at the same time.
It's one where like you need to watch a few and get into the characters.
Yeah.
Like because when you don't get their like banter relationship, it's just like, what the fuck is this?
I don't remember any banter. We'll try it again sometime.
Yeah, there's 15 seasons.
Oh no, not the last. We just finished that.
A lot longer than that. Winchester
rifle. And then turn to page
Winchester
227.
rifles.
Oh, it's getting slower again.
Worry, I'll get a £5,000 computer and it'll probably still do the same. What are we doing?
227.
227. Okay. Oh, no, it's not a journal, is it? Is it? No. Is that the journal?
Doesn't have the name, so I don't think it's.
No. Okay, so it's in bold as if it was a journal, but it's not because it just literally says the date. 12th of October, London. Your party of 6 vampire hunters leaves Charing Cross on the morning of the 12th of October and arrive in Paris on the same night. There you take the places that have been secured for you aboard the Orient Express. If your blood score is an 8 or higher, turn the 0 6. Is it 9?
It's 8.
Is it?
It's 8.
Oh, shit. Wow. Write down 227 in case you be like, stuff. Hey, Miso, how you doing?
Hey, Miso! 227.
I'm tempted to suggest that you write your inventory on a piece of paper and put your webcam on it. I think having another webcam would cause more issues than...
Yeah. I do sometimes write things.
Yeah.
Like bullet points and stuff.
Yeah.
And code words I write.
I just don't understand why, like, typing text on here absolutely kills, like, the CPU and makes it... It takes, like, 10 seconds to type letters. How are you doing? Have you finished John Harkness? No, we haven't yet. We are very close to the end. I'm assuming, so we're probably going to finish it today. Did you say this is one of your favourite game books? Why is it so good? Whisper Review 1.
It is so good.
It is, but well, it helps if you like the source material in the first place, but I think it works really well. We can't really give a full review because one, we haven't finished it. Two, we've only done one character's playthrough, but you can basically swap through 4 characters throughout the book, so you get like a massive game book at once, or you can just do individual storylines. And
I feel like this is the most like replayable of any game, apart from like Fabled Lands.
Yeah, because it helps as well, because like I said, if you like the source material, if you like the story of Dracula, like we're getting all the Jonathan Harker bits, and then it's like, oh, if we want to go back in and play as Mina, we're going to get all the bits of Mina, which is
And
probably
Dracula.
more of the Dracula stuff. We're going to get the Dracula storyline, which from what I've seen from when I was looking at the intro, there's going to be a lot of like Ottoman Empire stuff, and then you get John Seward, which is going to be all at Carfax Asylum. So you're going to get 4 very different stories really. So I think that's why it's quite good, and how he's weaved it all together. We haven't seen how it works, but I imagine it works well. So yeah, that's why it's so good, and it's horror and it's vampires. So
And it's
all good.
Dracula.
Now, where the hell am I going?
Not there.
Here. So you were at 227 down.
Yeah.
So if your blood score is higher, turn to 306.
Oh no. He's gonna suck it.
John Green did that with Wizard of Oz as well. We've not read that one, but I'm not too familiar with the Wizard of Oz story. Really.
I've only seen the Wizard of Oz like once.
I think the prequel looked more interesting with James Franco.
Oh, are we gonna go ahead with
Is it-
whatever this is?
I don't know how bad it is.
2 days.
Cut that.
2 days after leaving London, you are relaxing in your compartment alone on board the Orient Express as the train passes through a snowstorm in the Austrian Tyrol, when there comes a knock at the door. From the other side comes a muffled cabin service. Cabin service? You didn't order any cabin service. As you are rising to see who it is, the door is forced from the outside and a young man bursts in. He's wearing an ill-fitting porter's uniform and wielding a large silver steak knife. Before you die, I want you to know who it is that kills you in the name of Lord Dracula, he snarls. Who are you? You gasp in bewilderment. I am Johnny Alucard, he declares.
What?
And throws himself at you. Johnny Alucard?
Does he have long blonde hair?
There's not a picture of him.
Johnny
There's a
Alucard.
picture on the page, but I don't think that's it.
No, that's the guy's head we found in a box. Okay.
If you want to use the Panic Mitre, I think we've only got one left now, haven't we?
Yeah, so we should probably save that.
Cross them off. If not, turn to 332. Should we see if we die at 332?
Yes.
Oh, there, yeah, I love Beowulf.
Beowulf. Yeah, I feel like Beowulf could be quite a good
Did
one.
you say Beowulf or Beowulf?
It's like
I always say
Beowulf.
Beowulf, but it should
Beowulf.
be Beowulf, I think.
I think they're both the same. I think we just pronounce it a different tone. Cross off one and use it, or go to 3. So, like, what would be your dream adaptation into a game book out of anything like this? What would be like the best thing to turn into?
Blood Bowl.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I don't know, like more like a movie or something, or a franchise. Alucard is the guy from it's essentially it's Dracula backwards. It's Dracula's son in Castlevania.
I've only just realised.
No, you haven't.
Yes, I have.
Really?
Yes, you never told me. Why don't you tell me?
I thought it was obvious. I would have
No.
thought I would have told
I
you.
just thought
that
it was
at
a really
some
cool
point.
name.
It is cool. Dracula.
Yeah, well now I see it because it's like written in front of me.
I've never played Symphony of the Night. My go? Yeah. You barely have time to seize the weapon of your own before the would-be murderer and disciple of Dracula is on top of you. In the battle, your opponent has the initiative. Johnny Alucard.
Oh no, Johnny.
Combat 8, Endurance 8. If you're still alive after 4 combat rounds, or if you reduce Alucard's endurance to 4 points or fewer, whichever is sooner to an
Nice, we can do this.
Unfortunately, I don't have Johnny Alucard on the bingo list.
He looks like that though. He's
can't-
he's
he
on the
does, yeah.
background.
No, well, that's more like Alucard. Johnny Alucard looks like some
Oh,
random
do you know
kid.
him?
Yeah, I've seen him around the corner.
Have you?
Yeah,
What corner?
What?
What are you doing right there?
I'll say no more. Johnny Alucard, he's
You
there
know
at 10.
Johnny from the corner.
He's there at 10 at night and he's cheap. Enemies. So we got what we got? Dracula, we got Horseman, Vampire, Johnny Alucard.
Johnny from the corner.
There he is.
Is that him?
No. We've not used rats yet, have we?
No. It's not like us.
Do you know what? Let's just use him because he is.
He looks nothing like him. Have you not just got like a normal vampire? Oh, he's not a vampire.
We've already used the vampire. We're probably not going to run into any horsemen, so we're going to use this as Johnny Alucard.
Okay.
So 8 and 8.
8 and 8. 2 felonies. I'm out tonight, guys. So have a good. Oh, enjoy your night out, Miso.
Enjoy me, so have a good one.
Behave yourself.
Yeah, nothing too crazy.
Don't do anything Johnny Alucard wouldn't do.
He'd do anything
Johnny from the corner.
for the right price. Right, here we go. So we just need to win 2 rounds, basically.
Ready?
Ready?
Wait, what have we got?
9. We lost one somewhere. 10, so
Oh,
we
we
got
lost.
14.
It's okay, we've got loads. Got loads of
We've got brandy as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a win.
I turned them down. It's going up.
No.
Okay,
Did you take? Yeah.
yeah, I did. That's a win, right?
Yeah.
So we stand 4th in terms of the pitch.
Oh,
Alucard has been dusted.
not yet. 23-6-2. I didn't read Miso's first comment and I just read bye.
I did as well. There is a commotion in the gangway outside your cabin and a shout of "Stop, villain!" Looking about him in agitation, Alucard suddenly breaks off from the battle and flees towards the rear of the train. A moment later, Arthur Holmwood. Who's Arthur Holmwood?
Arthur.
I thought his name was like something different than Holmwood.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think it ever said his
Was it
surname.
like Lord Gold or something?
I thought they're 2 different people.
Oh, okay. And Quincy Morris appears at your door. Are you all right? Arthur asks. Before you can reply, there is a sudden squeal of metal on metal as the train's wheel seize and the Orient Express comes to an abrupt stop, which sends the 3 of you tumbling to the floor. Someone, no doubt your would-be murderer, must have pulled the emergency brake. If you want to head after him towards the rear of the train, turn to 411. If not, turn to 383. You might as well follow him.
Yeah, chase him.
Because he might not know where Dracula is.
Isn't Arthur the like doctor guy?
No, it's John. That's John Seward.
Oh yeah. I don't know who that is.
He's just a random bellboy. Have you seen? Has anyone seen the Devil May Cry anime yet? Speaking of Castlevania, I think it's the same people.
You are the first one back to your feet and make your way after Alucard at a run. Coming to the end of your carriage, you find a door to the outside world open and the blizzard blowing in. Steeling yourself against the cold, you head outside, followed by your fellow vampire hunters. To your right rises the icy fate of the mountain pass. To your left, on the other side of the track, a sheer cliff drops away to the snow-buried rocks below. Ahead of you, you can just make out a black shape heading back along the train into the whirling snow, and you set off after it. Suddenly, shots are fired, the echo of them ricocheting from the wall of a black rock and grey ice. And then you hear the dread rumble of an imminent avalanche.
Oh no.
Giving up on your pursuit of Alucard, you turn and race back towards the train, your boots crunching on the snow, and bollus lying between the tracks. Take an endurance test. If you pass the test, turn to 482. What's
Right, so that's 4 dice and we need to be under.
Yeah, we can do that.
I found the start of the series really good, but the end really felt rushed. Oh, that sucks. 12.
Yeah, 19.
Did we win it?
Yeah. 482.
You make it back to the train and your companions pull you back on board just as the avalanche hits. The Orient Express rocks under the impact, but thankfully its wheels remain on the tracks. It takes a day for the driver, firemen and other staff to dig the train out, but eventually you are on your way again. which is more than you can say for Johnny Alucard, who lies buried under the snow on the rocks 1,000 feet below.
Yeah, we did end him. There goes Johnny.
With his...
breakfast in his hand.
No one will understand that, right?
No, they won't. I'd be amazed if they did.
I can't even remember what the film's called. It's a Stephen King film about the guy who turns into a werewolf cat.
257. 15th of October, Varna. You travel night and day, arriving in Varna at about 5 o'clock in the evening. Arthur goes to the consulate to see if any telegram has arrived for him, having arranged with Lloyd's to be sent a daily wire stating if the Serena Catherine has been reported, while the rest of you make your way to the Hotel Odysseus. So who's Arthur? So Arthur must be something to do with the...
Is he the... Oh, I have no idea.
Is he to do with, like, the estate agency?
Maybe.
In a drawer in the bedside table in your room, you find a well-thumbed English copy of the Holy Bible. If you want to take it, add the Holy Bible to your adventure sheet. Add the Holy
probably
Bible.
should, right?
Yeah. Especially a well-thumbed version.
Yeah.
Take anything well-thumbed.
You take your Big Mac well thumbed. That someone's been ramming the thumb in it.
Depends whose thumb it was. If it was yours, I would still eat it.
True. I'm going to do that next time.
If it was Johnny Alucard, I probably wouldn't.
Well thumbed Holy Bible.
Arthur eventually returns with 4 telegrams, but Dracula's ship has not been reported to Lloyd from anywhere. You are evidently in good time and will be ready and waiting for the Count when he arrives. 10 to 6:40 is his endgame.
There we go. Maybe. If it ends like the film does it, it's quite anticlimactic, isn't it? I mean, in the book, I imagine it's well like anticipated, but
unless he's changed it, it might switch it up.
Well, if it's like the book's probably a lot more thought out than that. So
Not
6:40, we have a symbol of a bat and a skull hours across. Arthur has been 17th of October, Varna. Arthur has been busy in the short time your party has been in Bulgaria and has used his money and influence to secure papers guaranteeing you the right to board the Serena Catherine when it docks and open its dread cargo of Transylvanian earth. There and then, the bowels of the ship between you will cut off Dracula's head and drive a stake through his heart. Professor Van Helsing believes the Count's body will simply crumble to dust. You feel that the end is close, and that fills you with courage. Deduct 1 point from your terror score. Turn to 7 and 3. Down to 19.
Feel high. of October, Varna. Over a week of waiting and still no tidings of the Serena Catherine. But she ought to be here by now. That she is still at sea is apparent, but where?
Oh no, we've gone to the wrong country.
The next day there is still no news, and Van Helsing makes it plain that he is anxious the Count is somehow escaping the trap you've laid for him. And then on 28th of October, news at last. It's gone to Ibiza. Telegram, Rufus
Bay.
London to Lord Godalming. 28th of October, Serena Catherine reported entering at Galatz at 1 o'clock today. The revelation that Count Dracula has evaded you is a shock to everyone. Van Helsing raises his fist to the sky as if in remonstrance with the Almighty himself.
Remonstrance.
Arthur grows very pale and Quincy Morris tightens his belt, which you know means to action. I wonder if Arthur is Lord Godalming. It's not mentioned him, is it?
Maybe it said Arthur Holcomb or something before.
It must have been while Mrs. Harker was under hypnosis, the professor says. Just as our own dear Mina can move her mind to where he is, the Count must have sent his spirit to read her thoughts, and in doing so, learnt that we were already here waiting for him. Now he is making every effort to escape us. Galatz is more than 200 miles away in Romania. The next train for Galatz leaves at 6:30 tomorrow morning, so your party spends the rest of the day preparing for the journey. Arthur arranges the train tickets.
Do you think trains turn up on time back then?
Probably. Papers are obtained so that you might board the Serena Catherine at Galatz, and Quincy Morris visits the vice consul to ensure that all will run smoothly with his counterpart in Romania. And so, on the morning of 29th
Oh, it's nearly
October,
Halloween.
you board the train for Galatz. Turn to 725.
Here we go.
All Hallows Eve.
Yeah. Was it Devil's Night? Or was that Halloween night?
I thought All Hallows Eve was Halloween.
All Hallows Eve?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You should know.
All
Horror
Hallows
Bluff.
Eve. I thought that was the night before. I don't know. That's Christmas Eve.
Yeah, I think Christmas Eve.
The train from Varna to Galatz is nothing like the Orient Express. You are forced to make do with compartments interspersed throughout the train and are unable to purloin any that are adjacent to one another. You are returning to your compartment from the dining car after supper when you see a curious, hunchbacked fellow. I'm getting confused now because what book was it where someone said beware of the hunchback? Wasn't this one?
It was a Final Fantasy.
Dressed in rough clothes and a bald but very straggly wisp of hair, exit a berth at the far end of the carriage and head in the direction of the luggage van. His name is Michael Alucard. There is something about his surreptitious manner that arouses your suspicions. If you want to find out where he's going, turn to 798. If you'd rather leave it alone and retire for the
No,
night.
I'm gonna follow it.
Let's find out. 798. All Hallows Eve is Halloween. The first of Nov is All Saints Day.
Yeah, told you.
How do you guys celebrate Halloween? Do you do anything special?
We're chasing this guy.
Yeah.
Taking care. Hang on. This is right. I know. Should I checkpoint it?
Yeah. Drink the blood to regain my youth. Nice. I am Brew then, yeah.
Taking care not to draw attention to yourself, you set off after the strange figure. The train rocking along the track as it crosses the Bulgarian-Romanian border. By the time you reach the luggage van, the hunchback seems to have disappeared, but your attention is drawn to a number of large cases and packing crates. To one has been tied a label upon which has been written in German, scientific equipment, whilst another bears the name Frankenstein.
Why has there not been a Frankenstein game book yet? Jonathan, do it.
Can I help you, Mina? Comes a voice from behind you, making you start and setting your heart racing. It is the hunchback. No, you bluster. I was merely looking for the dining car, perhaps, suggests the other. Yes, the dining car, you reply. It is that way, he says, pointing back along the luggage van. Thank you say, and start to move towards the exit. Good evening. Guten Nacht, Mina. The hunchback replies. The hunchback. You hurry back to your compartment in a state of high agitation and do not leave it again until morning. Tick off the code word.
Oreos?
I thought it said Oreos. Orvos.
Orvos.
And what's that?
No idea.
And 10 to 881.
Orvos. I don't think Halloween is all that big here. Yeah, it's not in the UK either, really.
No,
but,
it should be.
Luckily, we do have a few friends who are on a Halloween party every year, usually, so we normally do that, so I wonder if we're going to be doing that this year.
Oops, I didn't adjust it.
No, I do sometimes try to play a horror game. Yeah, we normally play like Resident Evil or something.
Resident Evil 1.
Yes.
Every time. Or Silent Hill.
I've not done it. I don't think we did last time.
No, I couldn't.
881.
We'll make up for it.
Yes.
Okay, twice.
No. Did you play Silent? No.
No, I haven't played it yet.
No, you played the second one, didn't you?
Yeah.
Looks like there is still at least one Frankenstein game book out there. But it's not as action orientated because there's only Frankenstein. There's not really like a legion of Frankenstein's army. Okay, 881, 30th of October, Galatz. You arrive at Galatz as the sun is rising on the morning of the 30th of October, on fire with anxiety and eagerness. By 9 o'clock, your party is boarding the Serena Catherine, which lies at anchor in the river harbour in order to interview its captain, a Scotsman named Donaldson. Captain Donaldson willingly shares the details of his voyage. I never had so favourable a run in all my life, he begins. Man, but it made us afeard, for we thought that we should have to pay for it, but some rare piece of ill luck, it's no right. I'm trying not to read this in a Scottish accent.
You should be doing.
No. Right to run from London to the Black Sea with the wind behind you, as though the devil himself was blowing on your sail.
There you go.
Was that Scottish?
Yeah.
Scottish? And all the time we could not see a thing. The fog fell on us and travelled with us till we came to the Dardanelles. When we got past Bosphorus, I've had too much vodka to keep the accent as one accent without going into 10, so I'm not going to continue. I'm going into Geordie.
It was very good while it lasted, though.
When we got past Bosphorus, the men began to grumble. Some of them Romanians came and asked me to heave overboard a big box that had been put on board by a queer-looking old man just before we left London. I had seen them looking at the fellow and put out their 2 fingers when they saw him to guard against the evil eye. Man, but the superstitions of the foreigners are perfectly ridiculous. I sent them about their business pretty quick. We had a fair way and deep water all the time after that, even though the unnatural fog descended again, and 2 days ago when the morning sun came through the mist, we found ourselves just in the river opposite Galatz. An hour before sunup, a man came aboard with an order written to him from England to receive a box marked for one Count Dracula. He had his papers, and I was glad to be rid of the damn thing, but I was beginning to feel uneasy about it myself. What was the name of the man who took it? Asked Van Helsing. At that, Captain Donaldson steps down into his cabin and produces a receipt signed Emanuel Hildesheim and bearing the address Bergenstrasse 16. Will they continue this one?
Yeah. You find Hildesheim in his office at number 16 Bergenstrasse. He is reluctant to share any information with you to begin with, but as soon as Arthur opens his wallet and after a little bargaining, he finally tells you what he knows. He had received a letter from Mr. Deville of London telling him to receive, if possible before sunrise, so to avoid customs, a box which would arrive at Galatz on board the Serena Catherine. This he was to pass into the hands of one Petrov Skinsky, an individual who dealt with the Slovaks who traded down the river to the port. He was paid for his work by an English banknote, which had been duly cashed for gold at the Danube International Bank. When Skinsky had come to him, he took him to the ship and passed the box into the charge of the other man. You have no choice other than to set about searching for this Skinsky, but it is dusk before you find yourselves at the door to his lodgings. One of his neighbours reveals that he left 2 days ago, but no one knows where he was travelling to. It seems you are at a standstill again. But whilst you are discussing what you should do next, a boy comes running and gasping for breath tells you that Skinsky has been found inside the graveyard of St. Peter's Church. And so it is, as dusk falls and a full moon rises, providing you with enough light to see by, your party enters the churchyard in search of answers. There, shouts Arthur, pointing to a nearby tomb. You can see the amorphous black shadow of something lying atop the cold stone. Just as you make to move towards the tomb and examine it further, a mournful howl cuts through the deepening darkness that makes everyone start. Sounds like a wolf, Quincy says, his hand automatically going to the pistol holstered at his waist. Then we must be quick about our business and tarry no longer than is necessary, says Van Helsing. I don't like the idea of being caught unawares by a wolf, drawls the Texan. I'd rather be the hunter than the hunted. Anyone else want to come with me? As your party begins to split into 2 distinct groups, who do you want to follow further into the graveyard? Will you go with Van Helsing to examine the body, or join Quincy in hunting for wolves? Oh no!
Van Helsing again?
I just want to I want to examine the body.
Yeah.
As much as I want a wolf fight.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, but can you pet the wolf?
Old X, we pet the wolf. Based on a quick look at the TV tropes page associated Curse Frankenstein, it looks like there's at least some combat. Apparently part of a horror classic gamebook series. Oh, cool. In the Moon Knight gamebook, you find a lot of Marvel's horror characters. Oh, is that like the man thing and stuff like that? I never watched that Marvel Werewolf at Night, actually. So...
Are we going to go with... Do you want to checkpoint it? Saying that, it's probably just... Nah.
No, let's just do it. 912, we're going to go with Van Helsing. Follow him all the way down.
I hope Quincy doesn't die because we're not there to help him fight the wolves.
He might die anyway.
Gonna die anyway.
We're gonna do it anyway.
As you approach the tomb, it quickly becomes apparent that it is the corpse of the man you've been searching for, but what could have happened to him? The professor examines the body as best he can by the light of the moon. His throat has been torn out, he says gravely. It looks like the work of some wild beast. At that moment, the howling starts up again, only this time it sounds like a whole pack of wolves. There is nothing more we can learn from her Skinksky, Van Helsing says, his eyes searching the encroaching gloom for Quincy Morris. If you want to go looking for Quincy yourself, turn to 982. If you prefer to champion the idea of leaving the graveyard, let's go and try
Let's go and find Quincy.
Let's try and save him.
We're gonna save him anyway. Quincy sets off towards the back wall of the graveyard, beyond which lies a dark stand of trees, certain that this is the direction from which the sound of the wolves came. Arthur also joins your small hunting party as you hurry to keep up with the Texan. Do you remember, Art, when we had the pack after us at Tobolsk? Quincy says, his Winchester ready in his hand. What wouldn't we have given for a repeater apiece then? Before Arthur can answer, another mournful howl cuts through the night, bringing everyone to an abrupt halt. Take an ESP test. If you pass the test, turn to 998.
Okay, our ESP is 9, so 2 dice, and we need to get lower than a 9.
Yay! 998.
I'm gonna have 998. You suddenly receive a flash of insight and a glimpse of something in your mind's eye. A tall and thick third, its claw-like hands are distended jaws red with gore. In the next instant, the horrible vision has gone. Is this supposed to be good? Add 1 point to your terror score.
No, it's bad. We've seen a werewolf.
Yeah, but we passed the ESP test.
Yeah, but I'm guessing this whole choice is bad.
Oh,
We shouldn't have gone after Quincy, should we?
maybe.
At least it's a nice, even number.
We'll try and save him. Wait, you hiss, holding up your hand. Something isn't right. We're hunting wolves in a Romanian graveyard while trying to track down a goddamn vampire, counters Quincy Morris. Nothing about this entire endeavour is right. If you want to insist that your hunting party returns to the professor, that you can all leave this place as quickly as you can, turn to 942. If you prefer to say no more...
Why? Where? Oh, I don't know. But then what? But then vampires can turn into wolves, so...
What should we do?
If you want to insist that your hunting party returns to the professor... If you're really... Should we insist that we go back? Or do you want to see what
I will
happens?
checkpoint it, and maybe we should do that.
Okay.
We could always go back over this. It doesn't seem like the book is too brutal on progression through the story, so if anything, we maybe just kill the beast and get a terror point down or something.
I don't feel like we're going to get anything from the wolves if we kill them.
Let's all go back while we're alive.
Okay, so I've checkpointed it.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to leave as quickly as we can.
Yeah.
942. Good point.
Holy Bibler, I've just realised that says.
Holy Bible!
You've been down too long in the midnight.
Thumbs.
Seer.
We should be away from this place, you say. This is not England, and who knows what horrors might await the unwary in a Romanian graveyard at night. Everyone else reluctantly agrees, and so your party hastily makes its way, Quincy and the Professor included, back through the town to the hotel where you're to spend the night. And 6, 7, 8.
We're having a good holiday, aren't we? 6, 7, 8.
Bram says maybe the advantage of the ESP test is that you're forewarned that you're up against something fairly serious. Yes. Good show.
If you want to continue your story,
Right.
I think 6, 7, 8, wasn't it?
I think so.
I think it was right.
Oh, well,
I think. If you want to continue the story, Mina Harker turns 45, if not turn to 25.
do you want to double check on that?
What was it? 8, 9, 8?
998.
9, 4, 2. So 6, 7, 8. Yeah. So continue as Jonathan, 25.
You reconvene later that evening in your suite after supper at Mina's request. Restore up to 4 endurance points. We can get 2 back. She comes to the meeting armed with all manner of notes, maps, and other papers. I've been carrying out my own investigation into the matter of how the Count intends to return to Castle Dracula, and I believe I've made a discovery, she says. My surmise is this, that in London the Count decided to get back to his castle by water, as the most safe and secret way. He was brought from the castle by Scani gypsies, and they probably delivered their cargo to Slovaks who took the boxes of earth to Varna to be shipped to London. Thus, the Count knew who could arrange this service again for the return journey. When the box was on land, before sunrise or after sunset, the vampire came out from his makeshift coffin and met with Skinsky, instructing him to arrange carriage for the box to upriver. Upriver.
Yes.
When this was done, he covered his tracks. She spreads the map on the table so that all of you can see it quite clearly. I have examined this chart and find that the river most suitable for the Slovaks to have ascended is either the Pruth or the Sereth. Of these two, the Pruth is more easily navigated, but the Sereth is at Fundu, joined by the Bistritza, which runs up around the Borgo Pass. It makes a loop around Castle Dracula, and so is the closest that can be got to his home by water. Now we are on his trail once again, Van Helsing exclaims in delight. We may yet succeed in our mission. I feel like we've gone round and round in circles like this
I know.
part. Our enemy has the start on us, so here and now we must plan what we are all going to do and do it tonight. I shall book passage on a boat travelling upstream, and follow him, says Arthur. And I shall hire horses to follow on the bank in case he puts ashore, says Quincy.
Puts out.
It puts ashore. Good, says the Professor, but neither of you must go alone. There may be the Count's allies to overcome. The Scani is strong and rough, and he carries rude arms. You speak up quickly, volunteering yourself to accompany one of your fellows, but who do you want to travel with? Oh no, you ready? Will it be Arthur or Quincy, Texan, or whoever Arthur is?
Should we go with Arthur? And
Really?
Find out if Arthur is who we think he is or not.
I feel like Arthur needs more protecting than Quincy.
Yeah,
'cause
Quincy's got
Quincy's
his
just
Winchesters.
sorted.
He's a hunter, right?
Yeah,
Let's go with Arthur.
Arthur. Hope Quincy's fine.
He'll be fine. There's a board game based on this of the book called Fury of Dracula. I think it was originally gained. Ooh, very cool. Let's have a look at that. Excellent, says Van Helsing. Once you are paired up, I will take Madame Mina to Vestry by train and then by carriage. Following the route, Jonathan journeyed from Bistrit over the Borgo Pass, and thus we will find our way to Castle Dracula. Fair Madame Mina's hypnotic power will surely help, for we shall find our way all dark and unknown otherwise after the first sunrise when we are near the fateful place. There is much to be done and many places to be sanctified, so that his nest of vipers will be obliterated. Less than 2 hours after your macabre visit to the graveyard of St. Peter's, you are at the river harbour waiting to board a steamship that is travelling upriver to Strasbourg. The wharf is busy with the hustle and bustle of river workers and travellers even after dark, and an old woman bundled up in an assortment of shawls and blankets catches your eye. In broken German, she makes it clear that she is a peddler and that all manner of superstitious charms and supposedly medicinal remedies to sell. Most of it is tat, but one of her home-brewed concoctions does grab your attention. With the aid of some dramatic sign language, she explains that it will take away a fever brought on by the bite of a mad dog, and that it contains wolfsbane. I wonder if that's in
Werewolf, yeah.
someone previously. If you want to buy the file of wolfsbane, turn to 353. If you decide it's probably best to indulge, let's just buy it.
Let's buy it. Have we got money?
I don't think so. Let's just try and buy it. Lord, well, with Arthur, if Arthur's Lord Golgamin, he's going to pay for it.
Yeah, well, this is where we find out.
This part of the book where you chase Dracula across Europe. Well, from watching the '92 film, they do it in 3 seconds. They chase him from Carfax Abbey on a horse, and then they're like literally at his castle. So,
add the tincture of wolfsbane to your equipment box on your adventure sheet. The potion is contained within a grubby glass bottle stoppered with a wax plug, and it is of a vivid purple hue. If you want to break the seal and drink the potion down straight away, turn to 393. If you'd prefer to stow it away for safekeeping in case you might want to use it later, turn to 413. Yeah,
stow it.
Yeah, stow it. 413. Waste not, want not. It could be a breakfasting though.
we can mix it in with our food. I actually thought we would have finished this.
Same. This might be another part. And then another part.
Yeah. Within 30 minutes, you are on your way, travelling by steam launch along the Seraph River. The boat, the Phantoma, is large, and you were fortunate that Arthur's readily given money was able to secure your passage.
He is.
I told
He's
you.
got to be good at it.
Readily given money was able to secure your passage on board, although you are not the only ones the captain is taking upstream. If you have the code word Orvos ticked off,
Yes.
which you do, turn to page 11. Ouroboros.
As the captain is showing you and Arthur to the cramped cabin you are to share for this leg of your journey, as you travel up the Seraph, you spy a near, bald, short, misshapen figure emerge from another cabin. You further along the corridor and head towards the cargo hold. You bring him to Arthur's attention. When the two of you are alone, you say under your breath, Arthur, the hunchback was on the train from Varna to Galatz, and now he's here again, on the same boat as us, travelling towards Castle Dracula. Do you think he could be an ally of our enemy? Lord Godalming asks.
Must be just a title.
Yeah. All I know is that we cannot trust anyone in this land of mysteries and monsters, you reply. And you think he might be up to no good? If you want to follow the hunchback with the intention of finding out precisely what he's up to, turn to 41. If you'd rather ignore your suspicions and do not risk drawing attention to yourselves, turn to 788. I want to be nosy and find out.
Go on, then, let's do it.
Even if we're just casual, like, oh mate, we saw you on the train before.
Where are you heading? Castle Dracula? Yeah.
Spellsick!
Hey, Spellsick, how
How's
you
it
doing?
going?
Don't worry.
It's okay, we're still trying to track Dracula down.
41.
Hey, mate, weren't you that hunchback on the train?
We what?
Said, weren't you that hunchback on the train?
Yeah. The corridor outside your cabin. Is that what we're going to say to him?
Yeah.
I'm good, hope you find people are well. We're doing great, thank you.
Thank you.
The corridor outside your cabin is empty. Unobserved by anyone else, the two of you make your way down the steps to the far end into the hold of the steamboat, where you find several more doors. The chugging of the engine reverberates through the structure of the vessel. The air is thick with the acrid smell of coke.
Coca-Cola?
Must be. Vanilla Coke. Indeed, the door closest to you opens onto a fuel store with coke piled in partition stalls. Tony Montana is sniffing it all. The next door leads to the boat's stinking bilges, where the third takes you into the cargo hold itself. By the light of a swaying oil lantern, you can make out several large packing crates and cases of scientific equipment. They are the same large cases and packing crates you've discovered in the luggage van of the train from Varna. Lying on top of one of them cases is a crowbar, which has clearly been used to jemmy open the largest of the crates. Clouds of icy mist are escaping from the crack in the crate where it's been partially opened. If you want to finish what someone else has clearly already started, use the crowbar to prise open the crate turns 816. You'd rather leave well alone.
Do you reckon they died trying to open them?
Well, if it was the hunchback, he's probably heard us come in and been like, oh shit, and left it, but it's probably got a bad vampire in it.
I also thought it was Jimmy open. I never knew it was Jimmy.
I've never heard Jemmy.
I always just thought it was Jimmy.
Maybe that's a typo, I don't know.
No, man, it's probably like us.
I don't know.
Getting it
Across
wrong.
a lot of me have never read the word Jemmy before.
So we're gonna try and prize it. As soon as you've just had a drink, should we
Yes.
checkpoint it?
Yeah.
What you want? I need to get a chair that isn't so squeaky. Right, I'm gonna try and Jimmy open this crate. 8-1.
Jimmy the Lock.
Jimmy Elcard.
Johnny Alcard. Jeffrey Alcard. Whoa.
Woohoo!
That's,
Is this page?
I mean, that's,
Yeah, it is.
I mean,
This is the
you've
page.
got 5 seconds. Who is that? You know who that is?
Mel B.
No.
No, it's Frankenstein!
Yeah.
Well, Frankenstein's
Or it's
monster.
Carlisle.
Your curiosity getting the better of you, you take the crowbar in hand and lever off the lid of the box. More of the chilling fog immediately fills the air, but then just as quickly begins to clear and the contents of the crate are revealed to you. The box has been lined with straw. Isn't there a hunchback in Frankenstein?
Yeah, Igor.
That's him!
Some assembly required, yeah.
It's like here.
Oh, this is the MCU of Universal Monsters.
Yeah, this is ace. But we probably shouldn't do this. The box has been lined with straw and then packed with ice, and laid within the ice are all manner of body parts, which are all clearly human. You see a huge arm, an enormous foot,
Setting up a sequel here.
and a
Jonathan.
hammer-like fist of a hand, the skin livid with a tracery of purple veins. And in the middle of the crate is a human head that is missing the top of its skull, and the blancmange-like grey matter of a brain. You step back in horror. Add 1 point to your terror score and take... No, should we not do this? Because we check. What do you want to do?
I want to find out what
Okay.
we can always drop
Yeah.
terror
Add
later.
1 point to your terror score and take ESP,
Mhm.
which we need 4. No, we don't? What, 2? Just
2 dice. We won.
Yes. If you pass the test, 10 to 97. If we just shut it, then it's a waste.
You spin around as someone makes to strike you with a hammer. To 119.
Oh no!
Yeah, but have we just not like missed being hit with a hammer by passing that?
Yeah, but still. He's not even involved with this story. Standing before you are the hunchback and another man. The second individual appears to be wearing a butcher's apron and in one hand holds a bone saw.
The victor.
His henchman is wielding a hammer that he's taken from a belt of tools at his waist. Spies, the taller man cries out in German, his eyes weld. You would steal Dr. Frankenstein's life's work? Have at them, Igor. At once, Doctor, the others reply, and they go for the pair of you. If you want to use the pen as mitre, if not 10 to 93.
Should we use it? We're not going to be able to use it against Dracula, are we?
Should we use it then?
Let's use it.
153, using
Yeah,
our
as
last
much as I would
pen as mitre.
like to find out what happens here, I think this is going to be a tough fight. 5-3. What is going on down here? Comes a voice from behind you. Standing at the entrance to the hold are the boat's captain and his two sons, who are both built like wrestlers. They both beat Frankenstein into submission.
He doesn't say that.
They get in the sharpshooter and he screams in pain. These men are going to kill us, Arthur exclaims, speaking up quickly, and I dread to think that we were planning on what they were planning on doing with the contents of these crates. If I were you, Captain, I would throw them off your ship. Dr. Frankenstein tries to protest his innocence, but when the captain sees the dissected human remains in a large crate, he will not be swayed. Lock them in their cabin, he tells the sons, and we will put them ashore as soon as we reach Fundu.
No way! We just told on
Yeah, no.
There you go.
The insane doctor and his murderous assistant dealt with, you and Arthur gladly leave the hold again. Cross off one use of the penny's might here.
That was just a waste, though. It's like a cool little side quest. I do like the little crossovers.
Yeah, I mean, if that's not a hint that he wants to do a Dracula book, if he's not already currently working on it, then I don't know what is.
Your cabin is cramped and uncomfortable, and so you and Arthur decide to go up on deck for a while, at least until you're ready to retire to bed. You are lulled by the chugging of the steam engine. Excuse me. While the captain's...
the engine. Good sound effect.
While the captain's burly stokers keep the furnace fueled with coke. Hearing a piercing cry, you look up to see a pair of enormous bats flapping towards you on their great leathery wings. The wingspan of each of them must be at least 6 feet. Whoa. And they have elongated fangs. Oh, we've got a cool bat picture here.
Nice.
If you want to employ the penny's mighty, which we cannot, and you still can, 10-2, if not 10-279, this could be the death.
I don't know how long's left. That's the problem.
It feels like I don't know. Steve can't even help us because he's not got this far.
Steve's done this book, hasn't he?
Oh, is it?
I think it was John.
Oh, is it John? Steve, how far was it?
In duration.
Like an hour, like 10 minutes. It feels like a way.
You have no choice but to defend yourself against the giant bats. You and Arthur take on one of the creatures each. In this battle, you have the initiative.
Nice.
Arthur dispatches his opponent with economic thrusts and slices his rapier blade. If he succeeds in killing the horror that is attacking you, turn 309. Completed it, mate. Is that a good start?
Oh, okay. Are we? How far away are we? Are we like
Yeah, because if it's
half an hour or like 2 hours?
If it's like 10-15 minutes, we'll continue with not after call it a day.
Should we fight the bat though?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's fight this bat. Okay, here we go. You take this. What's the skill and stats?
6 and 5. Just a little boy.
And we do have a bat. That's a rat. That's a bat. Here we go.
Yes.
Can't really remember how much is left.
Ooh.
Bat down the screen.
Let's see what comes after this. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, we did it. The bat is done.
And 309. The 1st of November comes and the boat passes from the Sereth into the narrower channel of the Bistritha River, but it is not until the 5th that you get your first glimpse of Castle Dracula atop its crag, still a league or more away, when the Phantoma finally stops at the isolated village of Strasbourg at the foot of the Borgo Pass. Restore up to 4 endurance points. Already at max. You can go no further by boat, and so Arthur buys a pair of fine steeds from a farrier so that you continue your journey on horseback. Even though night is falling and it's started to snow, you cannot wait until morning before continuing on your way, and so you set off into the encroaching darkness. As you leave what feels like the last outpost of civilization behind, you're accompanied by the howling of wolves that you know haunt the mountain forests. You cannot see the wolves, even though you can feel their eyes on you, watching from the darkness of the forest. You try to put their presence from your mind and focus instead on following the track that is leading you ever deeper into the Carpathian Mountains. If you have the code word Varkalak ticked off,
I don't think so.
No, I don't think you do. No, we don't. If not, 10 to 659. Oh,
Surely,
decisions. Let's see if we enter the castle in the next couple of.
Yeah. That's the thing. We don't actually know how the book ends, so it might not even be the same.
Yeah.
The snow is falling more heavily now, so you decide that it would be best to take this opportunity to stop and make camp, intending to continue on your way at sunrise. Finding some shelter for the horses under the overhanging rock, you make a fire to keep the cold and the wolves at bay. You barely sleep a wink. The howling of the wolves and your own fear of failing to catch your nemesis before he reaches his castle home both keep you awake. With dawn still only a rumour purpling the eastern sky above the snow-clad mountains peaks, the two of you mount up and continue on your way. If the blood score is 10 or higher, turn to 888. If it is less, turn to 483. So 483. We're literally like outside here in the park.
I don't know.
We're in the right country. That will help us
Yeah,
narrow
we
it down.
are. We're like going back to his house, aren't we? You ride your horses hard for days, pushing them still harder and barely resting. So desperate you are to reach Castle Dracula before your quarry does. If you have the code word Langok ticked off, turn to 991. Langok, I don't think we have that.
No.
No. If not, turn to page 8.
It is late in the afternoon, and on the 6th day of November when you finally catch up your quarry. You've been climbing steadily ever since following the spur road from the Borgo Pass that leads to Castle Dracula. From this height you approach the top of the peak of the crag. It is possible to see a great distance and far off beyond the white waste of snow you can see a river lying like a black ribbon in kinks and curls as it winds its way through the mountains. The snow starts to fall more heavily and swirls about fiercely, for a high wind has started to blow. And then straight ahead of you, through pauses of the slope in the snow flurries, you see your quarry, a band of Cisgani gypsies accompanying a later wagon. Your heart leaps when you see the great square chest bound to it. This must be the remaining box of earth. Beyond the swirling wall of snow, you make out the looming, sinister, shadowy presence of Count Dracula's decaying home, silhouetted against the sinking red orb of the sun. They are racing for the sunset. Arthur shouts over the panting of the horses. The pounding of their iron-shod hooves on the road, the clatter of the wagon, the moaning wind, the howling of the wolves. We may be too late. If the blood score is 12 or higher, turn to 23. If it's lower than 12, turn to 76. Let's go.
76. So I'm just saying, if you think you're doing another playthrough, it'd be best to have another part. But
yeah,
we're probably
like
and we're also planning on doing one like Halloween time, aren't we?
Yeah.
Watch it be another hour now.
Dracula disappears into the mist back to London.
If he runs off again, we are leaving it. Your heart leaps when you realise that the other members of your party, separated from each other for almost a week, are converging on this spot as well.
Nice.
Mina and Professor Van Helsing are rushing down the snowy slope from the direction of the castle. Yes. Kicking up great flurries of white powder as they descend, whilst you can hear the remaining thundering along the road behind you. Also on horseback. The wolves scatter while the Scani are momentarily thrown into disarray. Perhaps you're not too late after all. Add one use.
Nice.
Ooh, add one use of the Penny's Mightier special ability to your adventure sheet.
Regained.
The wind comes now in fierce bursts. But does that mean there's quite a bit left to do?
Don't know, let's just keep going.
The wind comes now in fierce bursts, furiously driving the snow before it and sweeping around you in circling eddies. You can distinguish the individual gypsies quite clearly now as they redouble their efforts to reach the castle as the sun drops lower and lower in the sky. Halt, you shout as you catch up with their cart at last. The gypsies rein in their horses, and at the same instant the two of you draw up on one side of the wagon as your companions come alongside it on the other. The leader of the gypsies waves them back and in a fierce voice commands the Scani to keep going, but your party of fearless vampire killers raise their guns and order the Transylvanians to stop. If you want to continue the story as Mina, if you want to continue as Jonathan, or Dr. Seward, turn to 14.
So Mina or...
No.
Jonathan Harker or Dr. Seward. Okay. So we're between the two, I guess.
It's probably the same outcome then. I have to remember that.
Yeah, well, if it's like the movie, maybe Mina more, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So we might have a quite shit ending.
Hmm.
The later wagon slows to a halt in the snow, and the other command from their hetmen, the gypsies, instantly surround the cart, jostling one another and their eagerness to carry out his orders. Do you want to try and leap onto the cart to get the box of earth secured there, or you prepare to fight the gypsies?
Do you reckon the leap's going to be a agility test?
Probably. Should we write 14 down as a checkpoint and then try and jump on, see if we can speed things up?
Yes. Do it, do it, do it!
Do it. So 14, and we're going to jump on 366. Very Uncharted. We said when we were watching the movie, it's like a mission from Red Dead Redemption.
Vibes. Something. Oh. Jumping down from your horse, you run at the Scani, hoping to take them by surprise, and in the confusion, barge past them before scrambling up onto the cart. Take an agility test. If you pass the test, 10 to 4, 2,
I'm not going to lie, we're going to pass this test.
Are we?
Yes.
Very confident.
Have you got the other dice? No, that's it.
You gotta get us 2 or less.
Roll it again. Drink.
I know it.
You rolled the 6.
Roll it again and drink.
You rolled the 6. This is maths and chance.
Quick maths.
I'll drink as well.
If you pass the test, 10 to 4, 2, 1.
Outmaneuvering the Tuscany, you pull yourself up onto the cart as your companions engage the gypsies in battle. Before you is the last of the great wooden boxes containing the cursed earth of Dracula's homeland, and the vampiric count cocooned within it. Pulling free the ropes holding it in place and putting your shoulder behind it, you give the crate a shove, hoping to send it toppling to the ground. Take an endurance test. So we need to get lower than 24, right?
Lower than 24.
So
we can. We have.
if you pass the test, turn to 461.
Maximum power.
Strong. Yes, I'm getting strong.
The box slides off the back of the cart and crashes to the ground, but much to your annoyance, whilst one corner splinters, disgorging some of the mouldering black soil onto the snow, it otherwise remains firmly sealed. Hearing a cry and seeking out the source of the sound among the melee of Scani and vampire hunters, you see Quincy Morris engaged in battle with a brute of a gypsy. The man appears to have the build and stature of a bear. Seeing that the American is in trouble, you leap down from the lighter to assist him. 10 to 505.
Another battle.
Oh, that means that was probably the wrong choice.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
But we've knocked the coffin off, haven't we?
No, it's still.
Oh,
there.
wait.
Oh, we've gone to a
That's
cross
why,
page.
Yeah, so we've got a cross symbol here, which means we can go to 515.
Yes, we don't read that. We go to 5.
So that's what happens if you are Seward, right?
Yeah.
515. You're momentarily taken aback. You recognise the tall gypsy with the long brown beard and the grey black hat. It is the coachman who first brought you to Dracula's castle 6 months ago. Giving voice to the terrible roar, the great bear of man starts to change. His body appears to swell underneath his great fur coat, and sharp claws rip through his fingertips of the thick leather gloves he is wearing. He fixes you with blazing eyes and bears a mouthful of earthseed fangs. You witness many terrible things while you are a guest of the Count, but you are not going to let this shape-changing Tuscany cow you into submission. If you want to use the penny's mightier ability, you still can.
Choose it.
Yeah.
We've got one left.
Write 515 down just in case. Let's do it. Not sure why that just reminded me what film tonight is Sous le Scene under Paris, because Jaws set in Paris. Is that the one that came out like a few years ago? Something under Paris.
I feel like I've
Paris.
seen like a trailer.
Yeah. It's not on our bingo card.
Let us know how it is though.
Yeah. The last one we tried to watch was that Crawl, and we never even finished that one.
615.
Which is surprising. We usually do finish films.
I can't believe we finished Skinnamarink. How? Why?
I
How?
wanted
How
to
and
give
why?
up. I wanted to give up.
Yeah, same. But it had that in my mind, like it's gonna get good. Something's gonna get good, and that'd be amazing, and it never.
We've probably had many drunken rants about Skinner Inc. unrelated to whatever we're streaming.
You look like you need a hand, announces Quincy, joining you before the cart, and before the bear of a man has chance to react, sinks all 12 inches of his Bowie knife between the Scanny's ribs.
Oh, okay.
The Transylvanian gives a terrible howl of pain and rage, and even as his legs give way beneath him, lashes out with his razor-sharp claws. The brave American going down on his knees in the snow.
No.
Turns to 395.
So they definitely didn't have the budget for the Bear Man in the 92 film. We tried our best. We did try and save Quincy at every chance. 395.
And that was with the pen is mightier.
Yeah.
Oh, the pen is mightier.
I always just picture Quincy as the guy from Penny Dreadful, Josh Hartnett. Even though it's not even that character, I don't think. The gypsy dead, you turn your attention to the crate of earth. Pushing your blade under the lid, you set about prizing it open. Let me help you with that, comes a familiar Texan drawl. Quincy is back on his feet, even though he's clutching bloody fingers to his left side, and so the two of you set about opening the portentous box. Seeing themselves covered by the guns of your fellow vampire hunters, and entirely at their mercy, the gypsies prostrate themselves to the ground and offer no further resistance. I think they're all on all fours, one in the prosthetic zone. Under the efforts of the both of you, the lid begins to yield at last. The nails come free with a sharp screeching sound, and you throw the box open. And there is a Count lying within the box upon the earth, some of the mud scattered over him, his face deathly pale like a waxen image. But as you raise your weapon to finish him, his eyes flick open. Catching sight of the sinking sun, the look of hate within his blazing blood-red eyes turns to triumph, and his features take on the demonic leer that is painted crimson by the sunset. Take a terror test, adding 1 to the dice roll if you have the code word Boars along.
We do.
Do
We
we?
do. I
we?
checked it because I thought it was a good thing.
Boars along.
We do have Boars along.
Oh, it's only 1.
Oh, it's okay.
It's a terror test.
Our terror is only 22. We just got
21
to get
actually.
3
It's
6.
21.
Yeah, but 22 now because we're adding 1 terror because
Did
we've
it
got
say you
Boars
have terror?
along. Yeah.
Where's that page gone?
Here.
1 to the dice roll.
Add.
Oh yeah.
Oh, add 1 to so add 1 to the dice roll. So
So we need to be under 21. Is that right?
we need to be under 20 because we're gonna add
Yeah.
1 as well.
Let's just do it.
Oh, that's good.
Is it?
Yeah. That's not.
How's that good? That's 1 under the maximum.
Yeah, but we want to get 5s or 6s to complete it.
You want to be higher than a terror?
Yeah, terror.
Oh.
Terror, you gotta get higher.
Can we do it?
Yes. No. We gotta roll these 3 again. Forever until we get.
Okay, I'm out of alcohol,
Oh.
so it's all on you now. I mean, I feel like the point of the +1 is to terror doesn't mean much to your chances. I don't know how you could ever get to this point without having at least like 16 terror.
Yeah, we're not gonna do this. So this is mega
Hey,
cheap.
we did it.
That's yeah, we
10,
did
14,
it.
15, 16. Oh my god.
No, we didn't. That's what I mean. You need at least 5s or 6s. So this is like 20 deaths.
There
Oh,
we
there we
go.
go. That wasn't that bad, to be fair. I'm gonna take.
You're gonna take a hit, are you? I would offer to drink it for you, but that would be pointless. If you pass the test, turn to page 19.
Oh, I feel really bad. But the show must go on.
Continue with the story.
What if we don't die if we failed it though?
No idea.
And then your blade is in your hand and you slice its keen edge through the vampire's
There's no
throat.
mention of him wearing a sequin dress in the book version so far, is there?
No?
Like in the movie, he's wearing like
Is he?
he's wearing like a sequin dress.
A look of horror on his face, Dracula stumbles away from you, clawing at his sequin dress.
I was about to say that.
Clutching at the wound as blood pumps between his clawing fingers. Suddenly, Quincy Morris is there, beside you. I thought Quincy
Are you
died.
not listening to the last book?
No. What happened?
Quincy came over covered in blood to help us open the coffin.
Oh, I thought that was Arthur. And with a shout of rage and effort, he plunges his great Bowie knife into the monster's heart.
This is true companionship.
Before your very eyes, and almost in the drawing of a breath, the vampire's entire body crumbles into grave dust. First the flesh, and then the skeleton beneath, which disperses on the wind, and in a moment is gone. Turn the page.
If this is like how it plays out in the book with all these boys coming together and I think I can see why this is a classic story.
Boys, boys, boys.
But what did Mina's story do then?
He told us how to get to him. We wouldn't have found him if it wasn't for Mina.
No, but like if you were to change to Mina in these last sections, like you wouldn't even get a chance to do anything with Dracula because he's just turned to dust. Against all the odds, you've put the end to the undead tyranny of Dracula, king of vampires. The end.
No, it doesn't say that.
Turn to 380.
No, it just says the end.
Frankenstein turns up and puts on the Infinity Gauntlet.
Oh.
You're in the end game now.
Oh no, this isn't the end.
Keep reading.
The four of you file out of the tomb again, Van Helsing coming last and locking the door behind him. After the terror of that vault, how sweet it is to breathe fresh air that has no taint of death and decay. Under Quincy's direction, Arthur makes for the northern perimeter. Is this right?
380, wasn't it? Just hold
it,
that.
Was it 380? Are you sure it was 380?
Just check.
I don't know what it was. It's gotta be this. It's gotta be 380.
Yeah.
Whew. The wolves and the gypsies have flown, other than those whose corpses litter the ground all around you, whilst Castle Dracula is nothing more than a grim silhouette against the darkening sky. Imagine we carried
It's
on
probably a
with that.
Burger King now.
But then there comes a terrible convulsion of the earth that sends your party falling to their knees. At the same moment, with a roar that seems to shake the very heavens, the whole castle, and even the crag upon which it stands, seem to rise in the air and scatter into fragments, while a mighty cloud of black and yellow smoke blasts upwards from the sundered ground. When the smoke clears, nothing of Dracula's ghost-haunted lair remains. After the cataclysmic destruction of the castle, an eerie stillness falls like a funeral pall over the mountains, as the thunderclap of the castle's destruction rolls away over the valleys and chasms of the Carpathians. While the rest of you get to your feet, Quincy Morris remains on the ground, leaning on one elbow, a hand pressed to his side, and you can see the blood still gushing through his fingers. You go over to him, as does Dr. Seward, Lord Godalming, Professor Van Helsing, and your dear Mina. You kneel behind him, laying the wounded man's head against your shoulder. With a feeble sigh of effort, he takes Mina's hand in his, and seeing the anguish of her heart in her face, he smiles and says, "I am only too happy to have been of any service. Oh God," he cries suddenly, struggling into sitting position and pointing at your wife. "It was worth dying for this. Look." Mina's face suddenly seems bathed in a rosy light, and, as with one impulse, the other gentlemen sink to their knees. A deep and earnest "Amen" breaks from the lips of everyone, as, following Quincy's pointing finger, your eyes rest upon the unblemished skin of your wife's forehead. Her little Ruskin biscuit's gone.
A Biscoff. Say Biscoff.
Lotus biscuit. Now, God be thanked that all
One of those the smiley faces with the cream and jam.
It's the what is it? What's them biscuits with the cows on it? Malted milks. Do you remember malted milk? Now, God be thanked that all has not been in vain, the Texan gasps. See, the snow is not more stainless than her forehead. The curse has passed away. And to your bitter grief, but with a smile on his lips, Quincy dies, a gallant gentleman to the end. Turn to page 1000.
Oh, that's gotta be the end. I thought it was going to be like the Venga ending, where Dracula would appear
Bang boys.
in the dust cloud of the crumbling castle. When I was reading that about the castle, I was picturing like Dracula's castle in Castlevania, like floating up into the sky.
No, it's all the...
What's the word? when it goes in on itself.
An innie.
Combusting, no. Right, so page 1000 is a journal, so we better add our stamina back. Jonathan Harker's journal, 6th of November 1904. 7 years ago, we all went through. He's definitely got to be grey now. We all went through the flames, and the happiness of some of us since then is, we think, well, worth the pain we endured. It is an added joy to Mina and to me that our boy's birthday is the same day that on which Quincy Morris dies. His mother holds, I know, the secret belief that some of our brave friend's spirit has passed into him. His bundle of names links all our little band of men together, what we call him Quincy. In the summer of this year, we made a journey to Transylvania and went over the old ground, which was and is to us full of vivid and terrible memories. It was almost impossible to believe that the things we have seen with our very eyes and heard through our very ears are living the truths. Every trace of all that had been was blotted out. When we got home, we were talking of the old time which we could all look back on without despair, for Goldeming and Seward are both happily married. I took the papers from the safe where they had been ever since our return so long ago. We were struck with the fact that in all the mass of material of which the record is composed, there is hardly one authentic document, nothing but a mass of typewriting, except for the later notebooks of Mina and Seward and myself and Van Helsing's memorandum. We could hardly ask anyone if we even wished to accept these as proofs of so wild a story. Van Helsing summed it up all as he said with our boy on his knee. We want no proofs. We ask none to believe us. This boy will someday know what a brave and gallant woman this mother is. Already he knows her sweetness and loving care. Later on he will understand how some men so loved her that they did dare much for her sake. The end.
No, but that's a good ending.
It is. Can we close it? We don't have
You
any
see the
checkpoints.
picture.
So there's a picture, final picture of Count Dracula in his coffin there. So we have finished Jonathan Harker's story of Dracula Curse of the Vampire. So that was really good, and it's only really a quarter of the story. So
We did do a big cheat towards the end.
we did, but
Apart from that,
we'll try again for the next one. So thoughts? Really
this is
good?
really good.
Yeah.
The only downside to this is the length of some of the paragraphs, which don't really lend itself to doing a read free stream. But as long as you guys are enjoying it,
How many people are doing that though? This
yeah,
isn't meant for
it's
people like
still
us doing
like
this.
it's so good, and the replayability is
Yeah.
like
And if you've not even read Dracula, which we haven't, like this is probably a really good retelling of the overall story. So,
and the fact that there's different options and different outcomes and different
Yeah,
endings, that's
I mean,
crazy.
even in Jonathan's story, there's probably a lot of stuff we never did.
Yeah.
We've got 3 other characters to play and Dracula himself,
Yeah.
which is definitely going to be a unique playthrough. So, hope you guys have enjoyed our playthrough of Curse of the Vampire Dracula by Jonathan Green. It's been a really fun one, and yeah, it is as good as people have said it is. Lots of great artwork as well. So, yeah, this is going to be the end of our playthrough as Jonathan Harker. We will be back at some point to continue this, whether it be the other characters or whether we do a Dracula playthrough. I definitely think we're going to be doing a Dracula playthrough, but for the other characters,
Yes.
I guess we will have to wait and see how much time we have. But thanks for watching, guys. Let us know your thoughts down below in the comment section. I hope you've enjoyed this one, and we will see you with the next one.